And the reason I'm talking about this, the reason I connect with this problem is because it was me. It was me. I was the person that wasn't always upfront and straight. Naturally, in my personality, I can be straight when it comes to external issues. Someone does something that I don't like, I can say it. I can speak up about it. But when it comes to internal things, when it comes to things that really, truly matter to me, that are harder, that are tougher, that take more risk to step out and say the honest and the truth and being your actual true self, it's fucking hard. And I never used to do it. I was too scared to do it. Too scared to show people who I truly was and how I truly thought and felt. Thinking you had to be this, I thought I had to be this person that was always right, that was always up to standard, that couldn't do things that were wrong, that couldn't be wrong, that couldn't have struggle, that couldn't have tough times, that things couldn't affect me, even small little things. And when I started filming doing this, I used to think, how the fuck can I speak about problems, speak about the struggles that are going on in life, maybe that are personal or other people? Who am I? A little bit of imposter syndrome kicks in when you say, who the fuck am I to talk about these things? There are many more people in the world that are going through bigger struggles than me. And the way I learned to combat that, to get over that, I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking on the video. Just want to give you a little heads up that my videos take a bit of patience. The long form, the chatty, the casual, there's not booms and bangs and cuts and massively edited left and right. So you have to have a little bit of patience. But if you do want shorter, more compact content from me, in the link in the description, check out my TikTok and stuff like that. I do the best bits of this video and put them into clips. So check them out on my other social media, Instagram, TikTok, Shorts. But yeah, enjoy the video. And I think that's what would truly change the world. And I think for me, that it's what a big foundation is in my life. Trying to be honest. That's what this is. That's what this filming stuff is for me. It's being honest. It's not holding thoughts in. It's not being your true self. That's my foundation. You have to be your true self in life. That's the only way you survive this. That's the only way you live this. It's the only way to live life correctly. There are many different possibilities and options of doing different things in life, of being a certain way, of having different characteristics, of choosing the options of what things to prioritize. But the only thing that matters, the number one thing that is so important, is to be honest, is to be yourself, your true self. This is Daniel. I've started noticing how much of my life is shaped by avoiding uncomfortable conversations. Whenever something bothers me, at work, with friends, even in relationships, my instinct is to let it slide. I tell myself it's not worth the tension, that bringing it up would only make things awkward. So I stay quiet and move on. The problem is that nothing actually disappears. The small annoyances stack up. Over time, they turn into quiet resentment that the other person doesn't even realize exists. What makes this harder is that on the surface, everything looks calm. People probably think I'm easygoing, but internally, I feel like I'm constantly adjusting myself to keep situations smooth. Sometimes I wonder what my life would look like if I spoke up earlier instead of waiting until I'm frustrated. I don't want to become confrontational, but I also don't want to keep carrying things that could probably be solved with a simple conversation. My question is, how do you start addressing problems early without feeling like you're creating conflict out of nothing. See, the thing with this is you do just have to speak up. Unfortunately, the easy path here is more damaging than the hard path. You have to speak up for yourself, for your own respect, for your own benefit. You have to look after yourself here. And the thing is, we all get confused with this about standing up for yourself. It's that you're going to offend someone. But most of the time, we're civilized, we're understanding, and we step back and we go, I'm sorry if I've pissed you off. I'm sorry if I've upset you. But I wonder what the world would look like if more of us had the balls to speak about these honest conversations, to step up and say what's actually on our mind and look after ourselves a bit, take a bit of care in ourselves and say what's actually going on in a respectful manner. There's a way to do it. The thing with Daniel's problem is, right, this isn't unique. This is so fucking common. Not to say it's not special for you, but this is such a common issue that it should be spoken about more. We should be able to talk about the fact that sometimes we're that kind that we don't want to fuck everything up. We still, even though it's damaging us, want to respect other people. And that is the personality of a caring person. And I think that's why we can see what's happening here, not necessarily a negative on who you are. You know, there doesn't need to be any shame here. There doesn't need to be too much hate for yourself for doing this. The only thing I'd say where you need to look inwards and look at yourself is you need to take as much care for yourself as you do for other people. You prioritize other people. You're more than likely a people pleaser. And you've got to really focus. You've got to be more selfish, plainly. To say it plainly, that's what you got to do. You've got to be more selfish as long as you do it in the right way. There's a way to do it where it's not drama, where it's not insulting someone else, where it's not putting guilt on someone else, where it's you just honestly opening up and saying what pisses you off, what's annoyed you. And there's limits to it, don't get me wrong. There's so many times you can do it. You can't just all of a sudden start rattling off 10 to 20 different things to a person that pisses you off. This is why holding it in is also not the best situation, because when it comes to you actually saying stuff, the other people feel insulted because you're rattling off 5 different things to them. But those 5 things might have been 5 things over 5 years, over 5 months, over a year, whatever the timeline. They've built up for you, but they've not built up slowly for this other person. So just plainly for the benefit of efficiency, we've got to get off our chest what's on our chest in the moment or at the time. Because as well, sometimes the moment isn't the best time to get what's off your chest. Sometimes it takes a pause. Listen, last week when you did X, Y, and Z, this is how it made me feel. This is how I felt about it. Rather than in that moment when you've got anger, they've got anger, it's all emotions flying up in the air. You've got to build a situation, an environment that makes sense. Because you don't want to insult the other person. You don't want them to go on the defensive. You want to be able to talk through what's going on. Because most of the time people don't realise what they're doing that pisses you off, that annoys you. And the majority of the time, even if you explain to them, they still don't get it. They still don't understand and relate and feel what you're feeling. And maybe even agree. This person doesn't have to agree with what you're saying. It's more for you. You've got to get it off your chest. You've got to say it. Because just saying it releases that built-up pressure. And that's what the real negative is here. It's the built-up pressure. The stacks on stacks of things where you're holding it in. Mainly because you're caring for someone else. So you hold this resentment for other people because you care for them, but they don't seem like they care for you. But the reality of the situation is, it's up to you to let other people around you know what the fuck's going on in your head. People can't guess these things unless you say them. Most people won't even realize what the fuck you're on about, what you're keeping in. And most people understand and will acknowledge the emotions and the things that you're getting off your chest, that you're saying is annoying you. And at the end of the day, you just want to prioritize yourself a little bit more. Take a bit more care for yourself. You probably deserve it. Because the negative, if you don't change, is you're just going to get more things built up. You're just going to build more resentment. You're going to turn into a person that's holding all this stuff in. And you'll probably become less of a kind person, less of a good person. And people won't even realize. Because they'll have no idea what's going on. What's going on in your head. And you got to spin it and say, how would you feel if you knew you were pissing someone else off, but they didn't have the balls to tell you? To me, I hate that. I hate when the truth isn't spoken. When you sat there living in a false reality because you're both being kind to each other. No, let's just be straight with each other. Because if it was the other way around, I'd be thinking, why didn't I even know? I didn't even realise what I'm doing. And I wonder what the world would look like if we all just was a bit more direct, was a bit more straight and upfront with people. I wonder if the world would be a better place. I can't see that it wouldn't be. Has to be a better place if honesty is involved. And I think that's what would truly change the world. And I think for me, that it's what a big foundation is in my life. Trying to be honest. That's what this is. That's what this filming stuff is for me. It's being honest. It's not holding thoughts in. It's not being your true self. That's my foundation. You have to be your true self in life. That's the only way you survive this. That's the only way you live this. It's the only way to live life correctly. There are many different possibilities and options of doing different things in life, of being a certain way, of having different characteristics, of choosing the options of what things to prioritize. But the only thing that matters, the number one thing that is so important, is to be honest, is to be yourself, your true self. Because if you're not your true self, you develop this character that doesn't fit in the world. And we all develop this character that doesn't fit in. And then we look around and we say, what? I don't recognize this world we're in. This world's filled with too much hate, too much fakeness. This isn't a happy world to live in. It doesn't feel right when everyone's being fake and we're all stood around looking and going, this don't feel right. I'm pretty sure there's to faking it here. And it can only start with each individual person just being the self. And at first it might be a bit messy being yourself. You might be emotional because you've held it in for so fucking long. But over time, you start being less emotional. You start recognizing the sense when you're doing the behavior in the moment like this and getting off your chest what you need to get off your chest. Listen, I didn't enjoy that. That didn't make me feel the best. I know you didn't mean it, and I know you weren't trying to hurt me. I know you weren't trying to piss me off, but it did. Let's talk about it. You know, and it's not this shouting match of you did this wrong, I did this right, I want this, you're not getting this. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a bit mature. And I wonder, that little bit of change, that little small thing, what would the world look like? How would it change? And the reason I'm talking about this, the reason I connect with this problem is because it was me. It was me. I was the person that wasn't always upfront and straight. Naturally, in my personality, I can be straight when it comes to external issues. Someone does something that I don't like, I can say it. I can speak up about it. But when it comes to internal things, when it comes to things that really, truly matter to me, that are harder, that are tougher, that take more risk to step out and say the honest and the truth and being your actual true self, it's fucking hard. And I never used to do it. I was too scared to do it. Too scared to show people who I truly was and how I truly thought and felt. Thinking you had to be this, I thought I had to be this person that was always right, that was always up to standard, that couldn't do things that were wrong, that couldn't be wrong, that couldn't have struggle, that couldn't have tough times, that things couldn't affect me, even small little things. And when I started filming doing this, I used to think, how the fuck can I speak about problems, speak about the struggles that are going on in life, maybe that are personal or other people? Who am I? A little bit of imposter syndrome kicks in when you say, who the fuck am I to talk about these things? There are many more people in the world that are going through bigger struggles than me. Why do I have the right to talk about my struggle, to talk about little things that annoy me, that in the perspective and the comparison in the world mean fuck all, aren't big? How do I get things off my chest when they're not a big problem? That old saying of if everyone was in a room and put their problem down on a pile, you'd pick yours back up because you'd realise it's not as big as someone else's. And the way I learned to combat that, to get over that, is that your life's your life. You're used to what you're used to. If a problem is hard for you, it's hard at that current moment. It's hit your capacity. And it just means your capacity is lower than the other person. The only way to increase your capacity for struggle and pain is to suffer more. And you wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And you can look with a bit of compassion and say, I remember when I hit my struggle, when I hit that tough moment, when I peaked, when something was that bad for me, that I felt that pain. That's what they're feeling right now. And once they get past this, the capacity gets raised. And from the external factor, from looking in, you might say, yeah, it's not a big problem. Man up, grow up, toughen up. But the only way to do it is to get past this next problem. And it doesn't matter the size of the problem, we still have to give the same support, and it's still the same way to solve every problem. It's the same methodology. Speak up. Talk about it. Don't be embarrassed. Because it will make you a stronger person. And I always compare it to if you've been through a problem and a struggle, and it was so painful and you got over it, and then you witnessed someone that you cared about going through the same thing, would you sit there in silence and not give advice? Would you sit there and say, no, they shouldn't speak up about it? No, they shouldn't talk about it. No, you'd say, I understand what the fuck you're going through. Listen, chat to me. I understand. I'm with you. I feel you. Here's the advice I would give. Here's the ear that I'm going to lend, because I know what it feels like to have no one listen to me. And that's what in your situation. This for Daniel. Another thing it's stopping you being someone that cares for someone else. Because you build that resentment, but also because you don't get past these issues. So you don't have an opportunity to help someone else because you're not being the one to open a dialogue, to open a conversation and say, listen, it's actually fine to get things off your chest. It's actually fine to be yourself. When one person does it, everyone looks in the room and goes, oh, thank fuck, I can actually be myself. I've not got to pretend here. And that's massive. When we kick off that domino effect, that we can be ourselves, that we can be vulnerable, that we don't have to be this macho man and this tough guy. We can drop down that wall, the defense that we've got up. It can drop, and we can, like I said, we don't have to live a life that's false and fake. We can be ourselves, and we can all sit around and sympathize with each other because we actually know what's going on. Because who are we kidding? What, we're all just living lives with no struggle? We're all just living lives of pure peace and happiness and joy? And the thing people don't tell you about happiness is the happier you get, the bigger the small problems become. When you've got a load of problems going on in your life, the little small ones don't fucking matter because you've got big ones going up because they've piled up. But the happier you are, one little problem comes on your plate, that's your plate. So it's not effective to just pile all these things up till they become a big problem, and then we'll solve them. But you can look at this selfishly, or you can look at this unselfishly and say, either way, you getting what's off your chest benefits everyone around you and benefits yourself. There's only benefits here. Sure, people are going to judge you, but they're the sort of people that are insecure themselves, have got a load of shit going on themselves. And they're the people that need to be around you if you've got the balls to speak up. If you've got the balls to start first and they want to criticize you, tough luck for them. If they don't want to be the person that gets things off the chest, let them be. You can still do it and not have the consequences. But yeah, good luck with that one. Peace.